Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show tonight. Tonight's guest we have Zakia. Zakia is a daughter of a returned citizen. They used to call them lifers, but we named the returned citizens ex-lifer that's been in the system for a long period of time. When he went to prison, she was 5 years old, and he spent a number of years in prison. She grew up in prison. She grew up part of the Department of Corrections. And not knowing when her father was coming home, her father finally came home from incarceration. And we want to bring Zakia and Brother Suja on the show and allow them to talk about their reunited. They're being reunited as father and son after a long period of time. And we want to talk about how it affected her over the period of years. Welcome to the show, Zakia.
Good evening.
Brother Suja.
Hey, brother. How we doing?
Welcome
Assalamu
home, my
alaikum.
brother.
Thank you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Praise God.
Glad to see you, my brother.
We're glad to see you.
On this side of the fence, this side of the wall.
Ooh, praise God, man.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Long
sir.
time walking.
It has been.
You say you don't know a man till you walk in his shoes
You
with
ain't
him.
lying.
So,
Welcome home, my brother.
thank you,
Yes,
brother.
yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, your daughter, Zakia, your daughter was 5 years old when
Yeah.
you went to prison.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So were you there when she was born?
Yes, I was there with her. My mother was there. And I let my mother cut her umbilical cord.
Okay. 5 years old. So you spent 5 years with her before you caught this case and
Yes,
came
sir.
to prison.
Yes, sir.
And focusing on a sister, Zakia. 5 years old. Do you remember your father before he went to prison? Did you have memories of him before he went to prison?
Yes.
5 years old. Okay. And then growing up after his incarceration, he wasn't there no more. Okay.
I wouldn't say he wasn't there because we kept a relationship
Okay.
the whole 34 years. He just wasn't physically in my home.
Okay.
He was at his house.
He's at his house.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I could always go to his house and see him.
Okay.
He just couldn't come
Come
to
to
my
your
house
house.
to see me.
That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. That's right on. That's right on. Now, you going to school as a kindergarten, okay? In those days where the parents come to school, your mother came to school, father wasn't there, And I tell people that when we went to prison, because I went to prison when my kids was young, my kids had to lie for me,
Yeah.
right? In order to keep the kids from laughing at them.
Yeah.
And that was a hurting thing to me.
That was a hurting thing.
Maybe not to the children, but for me,
It was hurting to her.
it beat me up real bad,
Right.
right? Because I was kidnapped, took it to a foreign land, and my kids was out by themselves.
Right.
So in other words, they became orphans
Yeah.
because we were no longer there.
Yes.
Okay, and they had to go to changes that we wouldn't normally put our kids through. If we just would have known, we wouldn't put them through that.
Yeah, I used to say, when she was born, I made a promise to her mother due to my father wasn't there, and I didn't want to, I wanted to break that cycle of single parent home. And I made a promise that I would never leave her, and I committed the same act. I just left her in another way, but I didn't understand at the time of my actions what they were leading to, but it was abandonment.
It was abandonment.
Yeah.
It was abandonment. It was. Now, your memories. Can you share some of your memories with us?
I remember the last day I seen my dad free.
And I know it's gonna be difficult. Yeah, I know this. You're not the first child I had on my show. I
Right.
know it's gonna be difficult, but please try to let us know what you went through because we have to know.
I used to go to my grandmother's in his house every other weekend. So the last time he dropped me off, I remember what he had on. I remember the ride home. And it's weird because I didn't know it was the last
Tell me you gonna see your
I
dad.
was going to see him. But we was going home. He dropped me off. I believe my little brother was born. That's what I was thinking. But for some reason, I was rushing in the house. I just wanted to get home. So it was one of them, okay, bye, Dad. See you later. Kiss me. All right. Goodbye. He was more huggy feeling that day. He knew what was going on. I didn't know what was going on. So it was one of them, okay, I'll see you in a few weekends. See you later. Bye. To get back to my baby dolls and, my other home. But I didn't know that was going to be the last time that I seen him on this side of the fence. And I guess I never thought about the effects that it had then, but now telling the story, I never really had to tell my story.
Right.
I just lived with it.
Right.
Since he's been home, I'm learning to tell my story
Right.
publicly.
Right.
So it just thinks. But that day was so vivid. Like I remember it like it was yesterday. So I guess it was a blessing in some ways that I had that memory that kept me just going till what I would have that feeling again to see my dad on the other side. Like you mentioned before, so picking him up was very important to me.
Sure.
Because the last time I seen him, he was dropping me off.
Right.
So it just had meaning to be able to pick him up alone and share that reconnection that I had, because the last time I seen him, he was dropping me off, and I didn't know how important that memory would be to me for so many years later.
Yeah. So you came to 34 years of being locked up, because you were locked up.
Yeah,
You was incarcerated.
I was. Like
And-
they say, you got military children.
Right,
I was a
right.
prison child.
A prison child. And people don't understand. See, people don't understand when we say, when you go to prison, we don't leave people behind. We bring them with us.
Right.
We bring our families with us. All the hurt and the pain and the nightmares and the thinking and is he all right? Is he dead? You see it on TV. I hope he's not part of that. Whatever that happened in that prison, no, it happened in this prison. But all that goes on.
Being treated as a criminal too, as if I committed a crime, and I'm just trying to visit my dad.
Exactly.
I remember the first visit from county jail to San Quentin, and my grandmother didn't have the proper paperwork for me to visit with her. And I just didn't understand why they would not let me in to see my dad. Like, it's my dad, I'm just coming to visit. And I remember the long walk from San Quentin to the visiting room back to the parking lot. And I cried and cried because I didn't understand why they would not allow me to see my dad. Why did my grandmother need a notarized paper and a birth certificate to bring her grandchild in to see her father? So I remember that. But just over the years, the mistreatment, our rights being taken, and just
You were violated.
I was
You
violated.
were violated. You were violated. I remember my son came on the show and it beat me up with him telling me what he had gone through. And something I didn't even know.
Didn't even know.
I didn't even know. My son had been shot 3 times.
Yeah.
My incarcerated, went to prison for 8 years. And some of the things that my daughters and stuff went through, I didn't know. And they become on the show, it tore me up. And,
Yeah.
you make a commitment to take care of these babies.
Yeah.
Be protective of these babies. And then you leave,
Yeah.
and all kinds of stuff happens that they don't even tell you.
Yeah.
And they have you home.
Oh, that used to bother me so much. And my mother would say, "Don't tell your daddy."
Yeah.
And it used to frustrate me because something would happen, and they wouldn't tell me.
But it's because they don't want to put no more pressure on.
That's
you
what
than
it
you already
was,
have.
and it was like, oh man, that we could talk, later on that we could talk, and it made our relationship strong. But I had to understand their fears and hurts. It wasn't just about me. I remember after being in prison and getting this psychosis, I told my mother, "Mama, you ain't got to come and see me." And she had to say, "Hold it, Damon. I'm not just coming to see you. I'm coming for
For me. Right, for me.
I'm thinking she was coming for me.
Yeah, it's not for you.
But she wasn't coming for me.
For me.
She was coming for her. She was bringing my
because
daughter.
she's doing time.
Right.
You did 34 years with your dad.
Yeah.
You did every day with your dad. You did every day.
True.
Not one. You didn't take no vacation.
No.
Right.
You didn't go on no trip. You didn't have none of that. Saturday and Sunday was what every day you did that time with your dad. And people don't realize that how much you was affected by that. I mean, tremendously.
Yeah.
You was affected by it. They say PTS.
Yeah.
We have PTS. We
The
give it to
whole-
our families.
Yes.
We own the yard. We see somebody get killed. We got to keep going. We don't have PTS alone. We have
Impact your family.
Everybody that's in a family is impacted by it.
Yes.
And I apologize to you. I apologize to you
Yeah.
because of what you had to go through. Because I know you went through some hell. You went through hell, and if he hadn't been there, you wouldn't have gone through it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have gone through it.
Yeah.
And now that you're grown, you have that wall that you can't tear down. It's there, but you know how to live now. You know how to live both ways.
Yeah.
You know how
My
to.
experiences have
Right.
made me a well-rounded person.
Exactly. Exactly. You got something that a whole lot of women ain't gonna never get.
Right.
You know,
So my views is different, how I judge people
Right.
and look at people.
Right.
And I've learned to always find the good in even a negative situation
Sure.
from the things I've been through.
Sure.
And having a father in prison. And that's just like a world where I remember younger, I used to be, I guess, embarrassed to say I had a father in prison. I had a dad, but having to say on the weekends where I can't go to your birthday party because I'm going to visit my dad, or my dad was in prison. And then for the extent of the crime, that was like,
Right.
really don't even say
Right,
that,
right.
because now it's like, oh, wow, your dad's in prison. Oh, wow, your dad's charged. Who are you, you know? And then kids don't know, and they go tell their parents, and their parents is like, oh, I don't want you to be with that
Exactly.
kind of kid. I don't want, because her father's in jail, so he must be a criminal.
Right.
He must have done it.
Right.
So it taught me at an early age to really get to know a person, not to judge a book by a cover because of the experiences I went through. I wasn't what the world had defined me to be as
Exactly.
a child of somebody who was incarcerated.
Exactly.
I still had all the ability to do everything. I had a faithful praying grandmother that made sure I still flourished, that made sure that I knew my dad, and not as some monster as the society might have
Right.
characterized him, but that he was loving, that he was giving. And even though he was gone, as I said, I never felt that I didn't have a father. I've always had a father. He just wasn't in my household. He was at home. But I still feared him.
Right.
I still looked up to him. His advice meant everything to me. Making him proud meant everything to me.
Yeah.
I was 24 years old when I had my first child.
Yeah.
I hid my pregnancy till I was 6 months.
Yeah.
That's how important his belief in me, his entrust in me and loving me and not wanting to make a mistake or make him upset, even though he was gone. The relationship we had from the day he left to the day he returned and still building now was always strong. I've
Right.
always had a father.
Yeah.
So
Right on.
I'm
That's right on.
thankful that my grandmother sacrificed
Yeah.
her life to make sure that we had a relationship.
Amazing. Yes, amazing. It's you know, it's amazing how the children of incarcerated people, how they flourish.
Yeah.
How they flourish, because see, some of the things that you saying now, my son said it to me. My son told me he was proud of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
You know, what you had to go through to get to where you are now, I'm
That's
proud
right.
of you.
I
They
say
don't know how
besides
proud
all-
we are of them.
Right,
They
right.
They make us keep going.
It makes
You
us.
know?
I look at it like he stayed strong for us,
Yes.
but I stayed strong for him.
Yeah.
And I tried to do the best that I could, so he would be proud of me.
Yeah.
And he did the best he could to try to make it back home
That's
to
right,
me.
that's right.
So even though we didn't never have that conversation,
Right, yeah.
it was already instilled in
Already
us.
instilled.
So a lot of my decisions that I made growing up and doing was, I don't want my daddy to find out.
Wow.
So he still was very prominent in my
Part
life.
of your life. Part of your life. That's good. That's good. It's amazing. Wow. Yeah, we come home from incarceration, and I tell people now that we have less time than we have more time left.
Yeah.
You know, the years that we went in as young people, we come out
Yes.
as old men.
Yes.
So we have less time today than we have more time. And the time that we have left, I myself, I want to leave something here.
Yes. Yes.
Right? I want to leave something here that he didn't just come home and just say, okay, I'm home. And I'm just,
Right.
no. He came
Sleeping
home-
on their couch.
Yeah,
or,
he came home and put
yeah.
work in
Yes.
to make to leave something here for people that's coming home from incarceration.
Yeah.
Not just for people that's here, people
Yeah.
that's coming home.
Correct.
Because I know that there's people in prison got life without the possibility of parole that need to come home.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That need to come home,
Need to come
deserve
home.
to come home.
Yes.
Right, because that person that went in when they was 23, 35 years
18.
old, he ain't even there no more.
18.
18, he don't exist no more.
Yes.
That person will never be part of his life again.
Yes.
Right?
Correct.
And we know some same people.
We know the same
The
thing.
same the new folks now.
Yeah.
You know, they got life without possibility of parole that need to come home because he's not the same person no more. You know, and they got this this new law that just come out. What's it called? Well, anyway, they're viewing life without the possibility.
Life without.
They're
Yeah.
viewing it.
Consider them from 18 years old,
Right,
the
they
age they were
considering
doing.
them to come home.
Right.
So God willing, that works out for the brothers to come home. But you know, I mean, we left kids behind.
Yeah.
We left kids behind. You know, and I apologize to all y'all.
Yeah, tell the truth.
I apologize to all y'all
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you went through some things that you didn't have to go through.
Yeah.
You know,
But it made us stronger.
made you stronger.
And I look at it like my dad going to prison, it grew him up.
Real
I look
fast.
at the guys who didn't go to jail
Right.
and where they are today.
No.
I'm glad they're not my father.
Right.
So prison gave me the opportunity to have a father. He's smart, he's strong,
Right.
he give me the best advice.
Right.
So that's how I got through it. Like, it wasn't a punishment, it wasn't a bad thing. It was finding that positive in a negative situation.
Sure.
So I had a father. I had friends who had fathers that lived in the same household and didn't have the relationship that me and my father had. So prison, it just allowed me to still have a father. Because it said if he wouldn't have went to prison,
Right.
and the crew he hung out with or the
Right.
streets
Where would he have been?
might have
now?
took him out. So I was glad to be able to visit my father in a prison and not in a cemetery.
Right.
So it still was a blessing.
Sure.
It was too long, but I'm still grateful
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was our route
Yeah.
because it just took him out the household, but it didn't stop us from growing
Exactly.
and building our father-daughter relationship
Exactly.
that we have
Yeah.
today.
Well, you know, in Islam they have a saying, you know, that we plan, but Allah's the
Last
best
the
of
best of
planners.
planners.
Yeah.
Right. And then we got to say, your favors of your Lord, which one of your favors of your Lord would you deny?
Yeah.
Every day that we wake up, we're blessed to be amongst the living, to wake up.
Yes.
The majority of people who die, they die at nighttime.
Yeah. Yeah.
They die in the hospitals, convalescent homes, accidents. They die at night.
Yeah.
Right? So when we wake up in the morning, it's like, Allah, God,
Praise God.
Thank you for allowing me to be here.
Yeah.
And then you give praise to God for allowing me to wake up this morning, got another shot
Yeah.
today. I got saying I got another blessed day above ground, one more day to get something right.
Yeah. Tell the
Every day
truth.
is a blessing to get something right.
Yeah.
Right? We made so many errors in our life. We made so many left turns in our life. I mean, we made a bunch of them. Left turn, never right. Left turn, left turn, left turn, left turn. We was going in circles. Left turn, left turn, left turn. And then we fell in the hole,
Yeah.
right? And we couldn't get out for a long period of time. But while we was in that hole, we got educated.
Yes.
I went to school, I got educated.
Yes.
I went to school, I got educated. You know, and I got the things that I needed because I knew one day somebody's gonna come get me.
And they needed you.
One day, and I can't go out the same way I came in.
Right.
You know, I don't make fools,
No.
right? He gave you good sense. You're born with good sense. You're born pure,
Yeah.
right? We learn bad habits
Yeah.
as we live.
I used to say all the time, you know, I made myself. I wasn't number one on the damn food list. I was double zero.
About double zero.
You know, and it
Wasn't-
was self-induced.
Right.
You know, and I
Everything
say
was learned.
they had a good advertisement department. You know, because I had a great grandmother, great grandfather, great mother, loving dad. Not the best of dad. My dad was alcoholic, and you know, we asked about, well, how did you get to how you got there? You know, by the conditioning and scripting that I had a void. I was trying to fill, trying to be a man before I was a man when I was still a boy, act older, and I didn't want to be a loser. And the advertisement department of society made me value myself by what I had. If my car was longer than the block and my money was big that you didn't have to count it, that made me a man. I didn't know a man was just judged on content and character.
Right.
You know, that was a sucker to me. But where did that thinking come from, and why did I get it?
It was something that you learned.
Yeah, and
taught.
somebody to have a chance, like we learned these things while we were going away, to come back to deal with the things we got to deal, because we not unique. They already setting up the number how many people going to be in prison by
Already said that.
2025.
Already said
So
that.
we need to be those change agents to go out there and social engineer
Exactly.
and put them out of business. So when we see that little window or that little Suja or that little Zakia, we can say, hey, time out, time out. I know what's going on with you. Let's talk.
Right.
So they have somebody. They got these ideas and they don't know where they can share them with without being dismissed as being stupid,
Right.
young, immature. To say, let's hear you out, man. Now, it ain't the wisest idea, but the choice is gonna be yours at the end of the day. But why are you thinking like that? Or it's safe to come over here and say, I'm scared. You know, so that was a thing that I learned from this experience. You know, for the things I'm gonna have to face tomorrow. Because if we're ever gonna put these people out of business, then we need some solutions and skills and tools to get out there and do it.
Right,
You know, and like she learned, she said some things here today, like you say, you didn't know, or how they looked at it.
Right.
You know, and she works with an organization, and she's been a helper, man.
Right,
You know, that I'm overjoyed and proud of her, what she's doing with it.
Well, the work that you do. What kind of work do you do today?
I work in the mental health field.
In the mental health field? Really?
At an organization called Peers. We try to reduce the stigma towards people living with lived experience. So we
Wow.
promote wellness and recovery.
Wow, really?
Oakland, California.
Is that right? Wow. Wow. We plan these best of planners. So now today you work in the field of helping, assisting people along the way. Okay. And how long you been in this field?
About 4 years.
4 years. Right on. Well, you ain't gonna have no problem about a husband. You shouldn't have no problem about a husband. I'm just getting what God loves the truth.
Tell the truth.
Saying the devil.
Call in.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So you know, I got to tell people, I got a line here that the studio call in and let me know.
But we gonna check them out now. You got a job?
definitely
What's
check
your
'em
credit rating? How many children?
I'm definitely check them out. And have you been married before?
Yes.
All that stuff. Yeah. We gonna check them out. You got another uncle in there, so yeah.
Right
He's kind
on.
of tough. We tough on him. but yeah. I'm glad you came on to the show. And you know something? I'm gonna ask you on the show. Okay. I talk to a lot of people, right? And I want to ask you on the show. Can I ask you for some help later on to speak before some people?
Yes.
Okay, because they need to hear your story. They need to hear formerly incarcerated children. They need to hear you guys' story.
Yes.
So I got a few formerly incarcerated children that I want to bring on a panel. I want to be able to bring you on the panel.
Right.
Sure.
Thank you. I got a witness. You said y'all witnessing me. Okay. So anyway, we want to thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for
We
having
appreciate it.
me.
We're gonna bring you back. Okay, and we want to use you just a little bit out in the public and let people know that we have children that succeeded and still succeeding.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so thank you for coming on the show, father and daughter.
Thank
And
you.
appreciate it and welcome home, my brother.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
for the
Yes, sir.
opportunity, brother.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, my brother.
One
Yes,
love.
sir. Yes, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the show tonight, and we want to give a call in. We need somebody need married. I need to be married. So we gonna send you to the ringer though. And thank you for watching the show tonight. You can watch the show Saturday night, 7 o'clock on channel 29, Comcast Xfinity, and we appreciate you coming on and watching the show. If you have anything that you need to give me to enhance our show, call the studio and let me know. I take constructive criticism. It ain't about me. It's about enhancing the show. So call and give me some information, some advice, and we appreciate you watching the show. Anytime that you need to watch it on Comcast Xfinity, you can watch it on YouTube today. So thank you for watching the show. The Wendell Elamine James Show. Go on not Xfinity, YouTube. Go on YouTube and type in the Wendell Elamine James Show and look at my show. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Right on.
I'm finna say channel 7.